Good morning, Mr. Ghetto Tubeless Setup. What sort of overnight developments did you see? In the strong, yet very unfortunately underquoted words of a very near and dear to my heart role model, I paid my 2 bits to see the high dive, and I'm gonna see the high dive. Reworded for today's situation, I put my sealant in my 2 tires, and I'm gonna ride them tubeless. And always remember, if you plan to fail, there's nothing to be disappointed about when it happens. But alas, the track lacrosse bike is not the subject of today's Tinker Tuesday. No, no, no. It is this big burly monster truck, insane piece of machinery that is the Scott Genius. I am so far removed from mountain biking and mountain bike tech lately without working in a bike shop that I don't even know what half of the levers on these bars do. What is all this? This is my friend Dave's bike, and it is a ridiculous bike to own right now, especially considering the state of the world and the fact that all good mountain bike trails are closed to public access. Moreover, and more ridiculous than owning this bike alone, is that it has been Dave's only mode of cycling escape, and it has kind of become the road bike of choice. Albeit, I gotta hand it to you, Scott, the old dual lockout doesn't work too bad for hanging out on the road. Oh, hell yeah. Eat your heart out, gravel bike. All things considered, if this is gonna spend any considerable amount of time on the road, it's just that extra bit of improvement that could be made in the department of wheels and tires. These are just so big and monstrous. Completely unnecessary. New record for longest ride I've ever done. Oh yeah. How sick is this? Now, how sick is this? A set of Continental Grand Race Sports in size 28. Not quite as small as the 23s I wanted to go with, but currently what was in stock was what we have here. Beggars can't be choosers. This setup will be the key to improving those KOM Strava segment attempts. To improve things even 2 steps further, we've ditched that 50-tooth 12-speed Eagle, and we've thrown on a 10-speed 11 through to 42 cassette. You do not need that 50-tooth while you're riding the road, I promise you. And also, ignoring the lack of flooring, take note of the upgraded, or if you want to look at it pessimistically, downgraded 160mm rotors as opposed to the previous 180mm rotors. 180mm rotors, larger diameter, more stopping power, all that does is slow you down. You don't want that. We need to be going faster. Unfortunately, there's nothing I'm going to be able to do here today to help with the weird steering and the geometry that is this bike, nor am I going to be able to make any sort of improvements in the lateral stiffness department. But I think out of every Tinker Tuesday that I've ever done, this is probably the largest transformation with the easiest set of parameters. The lack of lateral stiffness, though. Okay, in all seriousness, let's make it look less stupid again. So real deal, this is my friend Dave's bike. It is a Scott Genius. I know nothing else about it other than that. It has SRAM NX Eagle on it. It has handlebars, it has a dropper post, and a Fox 34. But beyond that, to talk about anything else about it, I am clueless. I don't know anything about all mountain or enduro bikes to see them physically anymore. All of my knowledge is purely theoretical based on things I've either watched or saw or read. So when Dave and I were hanging out, we were talking about his thoughts on this bike, his likes, his dislikes, the things that have been going on with it, the things that he wanted to change, the things that he wanted to have looked at. Two thoughts came up. I had done an end card that said subscribe or I'll put 23s on your enduro bike. Two, I wanted to get near a modern enduro trail bike again, mostly just to see some of this tech up close and personal. So one of the very easy things that Dave had mentioned was that this chain guard keeps rubbing when you shift up into the easier gears, starting around here up through to the 50 tooth. And of course my immediate thought, hell yeah brother, I can adjust a chain guide, no problem, bring it over. Also, I'm gonna ride it home from my office. So what's the first thing you do when you get to a bike? You pick it up. It's heavy as hell. I'm not used to bikes being this heavy. Apparently this is pretty normal. Then the next thing you do is lift up front wheel, drop it. Can you hear that noise? I'll be honest with you, I spent a good portion of the day thinking about where that noise might be coming from. Headset, front hub, rear hub? No, those are all tight. So okay, I just figure, well, I'll deal with that when it's in like, you know, this kind of situation. When it's just sitting in a stand and you can actually go over everything and find it later. So bring all attention to this chain guide that does certainly seem like it's sticking out a little too far this way. Though interestingly, so of course you have to investigate more by moving it around. Now I am certainly no chain guide expert, but I know they're supposed to be more rigid than that. Based on what certainly looks like threads in there, this integrated piece is probably part of a bigger problem, with this pivot bolt sticking out a little further than its brothers and sisters. Now I gotta tell you, I'm no expert on this kind of stuff, but I know that that is a pretty pivotal, excuse the pun, pivot point on a dual suspension bike. All of that to say that all the noise and the rubbing that is happening with this bike right now is going to be solved just by tightening one bolt back up. Integration station. There was a weird extra washer sandwiched between the actual mount and the chain guide itself that was bringing the chain guide out just that little bit further than it really wanted to be, so a lot of problems solved here. A little headset service going a long way to kind of keep the noise down, make sure that the bearings don't have a premature end of life. This was just the tiniest bit loose, started creating some noise, but all those terrible noises, they're gone now. All in all, just all the stuff that kind of pops up over time when you get a new bike that needs to be either retorqued, rechecked, or just kind of looked at and observed. Otherwise, running perfectly. Even on the ride here, it ran awesome with a loose pivot and a loose headset. Though I certainly don't advise riding your bike like that. I must admit, I'm very happy that I don't have to touch any of those weird cables that do stuff that is helpful, but I don't know how to do yet. Okay, that's it for this Tinker Tuesday. I really hope that putting road bike tires on this was funny, because it was a lot of work and my thumbs hurt really bad.